Hello, I'm Jimmy, and this is my channel, Jimmy on the Spectrum. This is my second video, and it's still very hard. Probably this one more than the one before, because in this video I'll be talking about what high functioning autism has been like and is like for me. I was diagnosed at the age of 20, which means I was diagnosed late for most people on the spectrum, being that most people are diagnosed when they're a lot younger. That doesn't mean I'm the only one that gets diagnosed late. There are a lot of people that have had misdiagnosis and went through most of their life without any real issue. I did have my fair share of issues though, as I struggled through high school not knowing who I am. Most of high school was hard and exhausting because I was constantly trying to fit into high school the way everyone else did, but the problem is I didn't have all of the right tools I needed. My autism, though I didn't know it at the time, was stopping me from keeping my friends and being not recognized as different, even though I tried. This also set high expectations for me because I assumed that I would eventually fit in somewhere, and up until when I was diagnosed, I didn't fit in anywhere. This led to me struggling with my identity, and because of that, constantly struggling with my own self-identity, which led to me struggling with mental health quite a bit. Throughout my struggles with mental health, I had long and short stays in mental institutions for kids and for adults. During that time, I didn't get any answers for what was wrong with me or whether I would get better. They were just horrifying, really, and I hope to never struggle with that, and I hope that no one else struggles with, or I know they do, but I feel for anyone that went through some of the stuff I went through when going through the system like I did. That didn't mean I didn't have good times, because there were good times, but a lot of those good times were short-lived well, not even short-lived, but ended with me, or at least me, feeling like I've done something wrong. But through Nexus, I shouldn't say that. Through my time in different mental ward, through my time in hospital visits, I found I was I was accepted into a school, a senior campus that had an ED class, so a support class that I was going in. For the first time, I was in some sort of support. But even then, my diagnosis wasn't recognized, which I don't blame people half the time, because at that point, all of the different mental health issues that I was diagnosed with, being the anxiety, the depression, and mentions of different such as schizophrenia and mentions of other stuff, borderline personality disorder, and different issues like that, and even one point ADHD, which actually happened later, which possibly could still be true, I think. Didn't blame anyone for not seeing who I was, but I still continued to struggle to keep or even find a social group that would accept me. I spent most of the first weeks sitting in a stairwell alone, which was fine because I didn't mind it half the time until someone came up to me and that's she created a friendship which was good for me because I finally had someone I could talk to again or be friends with, and we were friends for quite a bit. But through that friendship, I met another person who was also who also had high functioning autism, and through that, I'm like, this person feels similar to me, and I guess that was my first hint that maybe there could be a place for me somewhere. I graduated from that school and fell into a job centre, Australia. And through Job Centre Australia, I met Shanae. And when I met Shanae, she felt similar to me again. And she understood me and I understood her, and that was something I've never felt completely before. And through that we started seeing each other, obviously, and we talked and we started dating. And when I started dating, questions were put up to whether I had Asperger's or not, or autism, and they asked what I did about my autism. And I said, autism, what do you mean? I have anxiety, depression, and some sort of psychosis is what I thought, but I didn't really know. So I was confused and it was held off for a bit. But that person really helped me to understand, along with Shanae, that there is a place for me, and there wasn't anything wrong, or there was something that could explain all of the issues I had. So we started to question stuff. So we saw a couple of professionals, and one of them, I walked into a room and they automatically pegged me as being on the spectrum, which was unusual because I felt like I felt like a fake, because it's like, I'm not autistic. How could I get away with it or how could I be hidden for so long? The truth is, I wasn't hidden. I was just poorly disguised with mental health, which I'll get into another time. So I got diagnosed on the third visit. And he said, as soon as you walked in the room, it was obvious there was something. And obviously doing the test and all the extensive testing that they do, I came out being autistic. Now, as for the struggles I have with autism, obviously I struggle to socialize to an extent, but I can do it. The way I do it is exhausting, but it's possible. I'm always questioning what's happening around me, or what I can do to fit in, or what I can do to relate to a person. Sometimes it's harder than other times, but I try to mask myself the best I can, which I shouldn't do because I should be proud, and I am now to an extent. But sometimes those masks crack, and when they cracked, issues formed, and I lost and hurt a lot of people along the way, and I blamed myself because I was like, what was wrong with me, sort of thing. Is it me? And that's when I ended up in hospital and stuff like that. And I blamed myself and other issues. But not only did the mask crack when I was in high school, the mask still cracks occasionally now. And when I say mask, I just mean like not even a persona, but me attempting to fit into society. So well, there are times now even like I try to mask, and people come up to me and what I'm realizing is that if you're looking through lenses, or if you're someone that already understands autism, it's usually quite obvious. And I've had a couple of people come up to me, one of them being where he said, "You must be autistic." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because you take direct routes everywhere. So when I walk, I'm always walking in a straight line to everywhere I want to go." And I was just like, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even realize that about myself." And I guess actually I've learned a lot about myself through autism, and I'm happy to share that with you guys online. Um, other issues like sensory and different stuff like that. I do struggle with sensory issues, and I actually have headphones for when I go out. I don't always need them, but they are really good for when I'm really anxious and when I'm getting quite bad. I like to put them on and listen to other music, or sometimes not music, or just have it on its own. That's my rabbit. Just on its own, which is good as well. I also struggle with sometimes reading what people's intentions are and what they're thinking. That's still something I struggle with. I might go into that in another video. But I'm learning, and I see an OT. I have an OT. I had a speech pathologist, which I learned a lot from, and still learning lots from OT and seeing psychologists. But the truth is when I got diagnosed with autism, everything opened up for me. I was finally able to realize who I am, and if I want my videos to do anything, it's maybe help people to realize that they could be like me, and that they might get a diagnosis of autism and it might change their life. Or even for other people that already are diagnosed, to see that things can get better, and they do get better. That's all I have to talk about today. In next videos, I do plan on continuing. I'll talk about different things specifically, and dive more into the intricacies of autism. This is kind of just to let you guys know about my story and why maybe my story of autism, so you guys might get something out of it. That's all. See you later.